Hello, my friends. In today's episode, I'm back with Mark Fisher, and we're talking about what your clients really want. We're trying to lift up the lid and look below the surface of your clients, perhaps maybe kind of superficial goals and desires, and really explore a full spectrum of the kind of benefits your clients want from working with you. And we're going to help you use that information to really improve your marketing and attract your ideal client. So if you want to level up your marketing by really honing in on what your ideal client wants from you, this is a great episode for you. Keep on listening. Hello, fitness business nerds. What's up? Welcome to another episode of the Business Unicorns podcast. Before we jump into today's episode, I have a quick pitch for you. We have a free webinar coming up. So what we see a lot is too many gym owners stumble into the new year without a plan to grow their business. And if you do have a plan, a marketing calendar, it's often overly complicated, or maybe it's executed in a really inconsistent way, and the offers are maybe awkward and clunky. But what if I could tell you that we have a solution to take out all the guesswork? What if there was like kind of a done-for-you system that was simple and effective, and you could go swipe it from us right now? And
Use
we do.
mine.
We have it. Surprise. We have a free 2-hour webinar hosted by Mark Fisher himself, where he's going to pull back the curtain and explain his exact plan that he uses for his gym and all of our coaching clients in 2025. When you come and you're an attendee, you will get this marketing plan that's easy to follow, that will make next year the best year yet for your marketing and sales. So click the link below, claim your spot today, and have fun in this 2-hour workshop with Mr. Mark Fisher. It's going to be a great one. Which brings me to today's topic. Welcome, Mr. Fisher. How are you?
Hello. I am great. Excited about today's topic.
Yeah, today's topic is all about the benefits that your clients expect from you.
Yes.
And oftentimes in fitness, when we think about client benefits, we often, or too many of us, I will say, and you can tell me if you agree, I think you do, too many of us think too narrowly about the kind of benefits our clients want. Sometimes we think of it very narrowly and superficially, like they want fat loss or muscle gain. Every so often, people will dig a little deeper and think, oh, maybe people want higher energy. But really, there is a whole spectrum of benefits that people want from working with gyms like all of ours. And so I want to talk a little bit about that spectrum today and how it might impact the way that you market and sell your services. So Fisher, you want to talk a little bit about how do you think about the kinds of benefits people want from gyms these days?
Yeah, I mean, this is something I've been thinking a lot about, because part of Gym Growth Plaza, part of what I do is I literally give like a 15-minute review of everyone's website. I go on the website, I give them feedback, I'm looking at their Instagram. I'm doing all the things to look at their stuff and really give them some feedback here. So when you're thinking specifically about a website, but really for all of email marketing, all of social media posts, anything you're talking about what you want to happen, you need to identify, okay, what are the benefits? What are the outcomes that the client wants? And I think of it as a spectrum in the sense that the far end of the spectrum is to be happy. They want to be happy. That's the far end of the spectrum. But that's so big and general as to be almost useless. So you have to back it up a little bit. So before happiness, there might be specific emotions they want to feel that are a little bit more specific than just generally happiness, on the way to happiness. And you can debate about whether something like confidence or I feel sexy is like an emotion necessarily. I guess I would concede it probably isn't strictly an emotion, but I think there's something about the way that they feel, a state of mind, a sense of possibility, right? And I think that gets closer to what people are looking for, right? Now, some of those things may or may not go on the website, right? But I think if we back up a little bit further, okay, so if you think about this as a spectrum, I got to make a graphic for this. I have to have Eric make one for us.
Yeah. Also say, can I add into that part of the spectrum? Yeah. Sorry, the feelings part. Can I also add like maybe a broader word for it, maybe like sensations? Because I think in that bucket, I would also put like
it's interesting.
Feeling energy in my body, feeling, connected to my body, right? The sense of I have energy to get through the day, like that kind of stuff also, which is maybe not an exact feeling, but it's a kind of a sensation.
Yeah. No, and I really love this, and I both apologize and you're welcome to listeners to come inside the brain, because this is clearly not like a fully fleshed out model yet. But yeah, I kind of like, energy is a sensation. Maybe that's like even like a step in, a touch in from like an emotional word. And then a step out too. Energy is an interesting segue, because if you step a little further back, now we're talking about, okay, what are the physiological outcomes they're going to create those sensations, right? And this is the thing that for a lot of people, you probably do want on the website, and you probably do want on your Facebook ad copy, and you probably do want in
Hmm.
your email ad copy. And these are going to often be things like, and again, it's not that complicated. It's like lose weight, get strong, build muscle, burn fats, have energy, right? And these are like oftentimes quantifiable fitness outcomes, things that happen to their physiology because of fitness stuff, right? And again, I think oftentimes, one or two of those, if you have maybe three things on your website, are going to be there. If I were to give you the most generic one in the world that, for better or for worse, works for 90% of Gen Pop gyms, it's like, we help busy professionals over the age of 40 lose weight, get strong, and feel confident. Now, that is, on the one hand, as generic as you can get, but it really only matters about how differentiated you are in your geographic market. And since many of your competitors don't have good headlines, that might be enough to get you there. And you could maybe get rid of over 40. Maybe you have, we help busy parents, right? There's different ways you could play with that. But I think that formulation will often work. Now, here's the meat of this, and this is how we got in this conversation. I got to shout out my guy, Mr. Chris Protein, and Barb Mueller from Testify. We were having this chat in office hour the other day, and I was like, oh, I gotta get this down. This is important. A benefit that gym owners will often think about, that sometimes their prospects will even say, and sometimes their clients will say, is what I want, what I most want the outcome is, I want motivation, or I want accountability, or I want to have fun, or I want sustainable results. And here is my contention. I reject the claim that your clients are thinking of those words in their head before they go to bed, when they're thinking about their dreams and what they most want and where they're in pain and how they want things to change. They're usually not thinking like, I just wish I had accountability. And to the extent that they are, the reason that they're thinking about that is because, and maybe not incorrectly, they think that, well, this is the missing thing that's going to allow me to do the workouts that are going to create these physiological changes, that are going to create these physical sensations, that will create these feelings that will make me happy. Right. And again, that's not to say that you can't ever talk about, and you probably should, frankly, right? Instrumental goals are real goals. They are things the clients are going to say. They're going to perceive, again, not incorrectly, that, oh, these are some of the ingredients I need if I want to work out consistently, to get strong, to have energy, to boop, 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 boop. But I would just note that that's not the goal in of itself. It's an instrumental goal. And I think as you're thinking about this, that distinction becomes very important. Because to finish up my spectrum here, and I'll open up for your thoughts, Keeler, you could maybe go even a step further, like even a more instrumental goal rather than a motivation or accountabilities, if they get very specific as far as, what do you want? What outcomes do you want? Well, I want strength training. Well, okay, but they want strength training probably because they've read an article that it's going to create these kind of outcomes, right? Or like, I want to lose fat, so I want cardio. And again, that may or may not be the correct path for them. And I'm not even like, making a case one way or the other about that, though in practice, probably strength training is usually better than cardio for fat loss, not to say nothing of diet. But I think, again, we need to be clear on what is the real thing they want to have happen, and how is that represented in our copy. Particularly, the website headline rather, is a great little, I think, filter, because you're going to have three things. It's going to be, we help boopadoo, do youpadoo, do youpadoo, and youpadoopadoopadoo, right? And feel 10 years younger, right? And again, there's probably like 10, and you'd pick 3 of the 10 for most Gen Pop gyms. And if it supports performance, it's going to be things like get stronger, get faster, and build explosive strength. Get stronger, get faster, and get first in the draft, or whatever, right? That's not a good one, but something like that.
Two big sports fans here.
Yeah,
Really
Get first
knocked
in
out
the
of the
draft.
park.
I'm sure
Yeah.
it's where you sports people play. Talk to Mick and Pete. Leave us alone. Leave us alone. Talk to Mick and Pete. Just kidding.
Yeah, no, I think listen, I think it's a good one, and as you were talking about it even before recording and thinking through it now, what this is immediately bringing to mind is the 5 whys exercise.
Yeah,
Right.
totally.
Which is the minute someone comes into your gym and says, hey, I'm really here because I'm looking for more accountability. Right. And as you're walking down the spectrum, you're just getting further into why. Okay. Well, why? Well, I want the accountability because I often don't show up in the past and I need someone to make me show up. Okay. Well, what makes showing up important? Why is showing up matter? Oh, because I really want to do more strength training. I'm told strength training is really going to help me. Okay. Why do you want strength training? Because I really want to put on muscle. Why do you want muscle? So I want to feel strong and have energy. And we're just walking down it. And the end of that path is because I want to be happy. Right.
Yes.
And I think that it's an important sometimes counterintuitive path to walk down for what the kind of causes each why to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I think your message here is that if you're only focusing on one part of that spectrum in your marketing message, you're leaving a lot on the table. Right. I think to really encapsulate like the full narrative of our clients' wants and dreams and hopes, you have to use different parts of that spectrum. If you're just talking about the accountability, you're missing a lot. If you're just talking about happiness, you're missing a lot. If you're just talking about
Yeah.
the benefit of strength training, like you have to really use multiple parts of that spectrum to really craft like a full message that's going to like resonate with people who you want to attract.
Yeah, because here's I think another interesting distinction too. And again, this is like fun to like put my thoughts together in real time. If I'm doing, let's say, 8 bullet points on
Mm-hmm.
an email or on a landing page, I'm gonna want to like touch a lot of these. If I'm on a headline, I
Yeah.
probably just want the hot ones. I want the sensations and maybe the emotions and maybe the physiological ones, or maybe 2 or 3. I probably on a headline
Yep.
wouldn't do "Come to our gym, we create accountability." Right now, again, that's going to
Yeah.
serve a role if you're doing bullet points because people will correctly want some of that. I also want to share one other exercise you should consider doing. That is one of, I just recently reviewed it because I'm taking people through this part of our curriculum in Gym Growth Blast Off, where I will be your personal chief marketing officer. Next round starts second week in January. DM us on Instagram if you want to know more. But anyway, so I'm taking people through this right now. And I was re-reviewing our sales script stuff. I was like, oh God, this is like so good. I think the best part of that sales script is when you are forced to go through and list, because in practice, your clients are only going to say maybe, again, like if it's Gen Pop or even sports performance, they don't have an unlimited number of goals and they don't have an unlimited number of obstacles. And what we recommend people do, now if you are in the unicorn side or Gym Growth Blast Off, we just help do this for you and give you just a lot of the words, but you could do this on your own, right? You just make a list of what are
Yeah.
all the things people say they want. And this could include things like motivation, accountability, I don't want to get bored, I want to lose fat, I want to whatever. And again, it's not going to be an unlimited list. And then you figure out in your sales conversation, we're building value for what you do. You talk about the things that they said they wanted, or you address the
Mm-hmm.
things they said have gotten in the way of the past. And when you're explaining the features of your services, right, you're explaining the features, you're always linking to this. We have this particular feature so that you get this particular benefit, which is either the specific outcome that you wanted, or so we can overcome this thing that's
Yeah.
been getting in the way of the past and preventing you from being, doing, and having the life that you
Yeah.
want.
Yeah, I think that's also really, I think, really useful to think about it in that way. I'll throw out another way to slice this, and maybe we do make this into a visual so we can kind of represent
Yeah,
all
totally.
this thinking in one place. But it's also going to be think about like, okay, well, what do you want? Why do you want it? How are we going to get there? Because I think that
Yeah.
also slices up this
Mm,
spectrum,
mm,
right? Because some of it is like what you think you want, some of it is
yes.
why that matters to you, and some
Yes.
of that is like how. How is it going to
Right,
happen?
right,
How
right,
do you
right.
think that we get from there
Yes.
to there? And I think even
Yes.
those are really just fantastic questions to start with. If I only had 3 in a strategy session or
Yeah.
a sales conversation, I'm going to pick those 3. What do you think
Yeah.
you want? Why do you think you want it? How do you see yourself getting there? Right.
Yeah.
And certainly we could keep going with, how has this not happened in the past, or what's gotten you way in the
Yes.
past?
Yes. Yes.
But I
Yes.
mean,
Yes.
that in of itself is just kind of another way of articulating the kind of same bucket. But I think the overall point here is that there's a lot of different things your clients want. And some people also throw in this point of confusion is they won't always come in on day one clear about all of this
Yes.
either.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
They
Nor will
right
they
they won't
always
always
be
come in on day
completely
one.
honest.
Yeah, like with the crystal clear narrative of the who's, the what's, and the whys and the whens, right? Like this is might going to be, and it's going to be a moving target. I think it's not
Yeah.
always the same, right? When you
Yep.
ask them from week
Yep.
to week and month to month. But I
Yeah.
think
And
the point
particularly as
here is
they're,
that there's a yeah.
you go finish your thought. Yeah.
I was going to say there's the point where the overall point I hope listeners will take away from this is that you and your team probably would benefit from thinking more thoroughly, more deeply, more broadly about the kinds of benefits your clients might want, and really get curious about the kind of the whole spectrum here, and make sure that your marketing materials really reflect some of that narrative. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, I think the final point I'll make about this too, where I think people get tripped up, is they will often reflect back, oh, my clients say that I want this, but your clients are not your
Mm,
prospects. So this is one of the most common thinking errors I see in people's marketing for their
yeah,
gym. Is what happens is they will often, in ways that are admirable, indoctrinate the client into their culture, into their values, because to some extent, a kind of A special kind of leadership is teaching people what to want. A
Sure.
special kind of leadership is teaching people what to want better things. And if you're, our, buddy, Coach Steve Ledbetter used to always say, a good gym is the positive, motivational hot tub environment. You're in the hot tub, and slowly what you want starts to change. You start to move towards these, things that are a little higher up on the sphere of motivation. You have more like intrinsic desires. They become more focused on values and identity rather than moving away from stuff. And that's amazing. But oftentimes your prospects are not there yet, right? The prospect often is like,
Hmm.
and to your point here, I don't even know what I want. It's just not this. I
Yeah.
can't tell you
Yeah.
what B is. I can't even tell you what A is. Whatever A is, this is not who I am. This is not what I want. And I just need not A. I don't have a B. I just need not
Yep.
A. And I think understanding the distinction between the way a client you have beautifully, admirably indoctrinated talks about the gym and not getting tricked on those words, because oftentimes they're reflecting back to you really beautiful values you've even helped inculcate, but that a prospect might not have yet and might not give them the ladder rung to grab onto to bring them into the hot tub of positive motivational environment.
Yeah, I love it. Well, let's leave it there at the hot tub. Let's leave it at the hot tub of a positive emotional environment. I
Mm-hmm.
think that makes a good graphic someday. When we make it, we'll come back on and talk
Yeah.
about it even more. Awesome. Well, thanks for listening, my friends. Again, if you want to work with us and specifically join this free 2-hour workshop with Mark Fisher, all about your marketing calendar for 2025, click the link down below in the show notes. Go register now,
Join
claim your
me.
spot, and join Fisher. Thanks for listening. See you on the next one.
Bye bye.